Welcome back to SmartLink Basics, your go-to source for mastering Excel functions and boosting your productivity.
In today's tutorial, we're going to explore the COUNTA function in Excel. This essential function is designed to help you count the number of non-empty cells in a range. The COUNTA function is particularly useful when you need to count cells containing any type of data, including text, numbers, errors, and logical values. Unlike the count function, which only counts cells with numerical values, COUNTA gives you a broader count of cells with any content. Let's dive in. Let's understand the syntax of the COUNTA function. The syntax is displayed on the screen. Here's what each part means. Value 1 is the first argument representing the range or value where you want to count the non-empty cells. It can be a cell reference or a direct value. Value 2 is optional and represents additional arguments for ranges or values to count. You can include multiple ranges or cell references separated by commas. Here is an example where we count non-empty cells in a single range. Let's start by setting up our data. Imagine you're managing a list of customer responses to a survey, and you want to count how many respondents have filled out their names. Here's our table setup. Now let's count the number of non-empty cells in this range. Enter the customer names in cells A1 to A6. Some cells are intentionally left blank to demonstrate how COUNTA works with non-empty cells. In cell B1, enter the formula equals count A1 to A6 to count the number of non-empty cells in the range A1. After pressing enter, Excel will return the count of non-empty cells in the range. In this case, the result will be 4, as there are 4 cells with names. Now let's look at an example where we count non-empty cells in multiple ranges. Consider a scenario where you have a list of product names and their corresponding sales figures. You want to count how many cells contain product names and how many contain sales figures. Here's our table setup. Now let's count the number of non-empty cells in 2 different ranges. Enter the product names in cells A1 to A5 and the sales figures in cells B1 to B5. In cell C1, enter the formula equals count A1 to A5 to count the number of non-empty cells in the range A1. In cell D1, enter the formula equals count A, B1 to B5 to count the number of non-empty cells in the range B1. After pressing enter, Excel will return the count of non-empty cells for both ranges. In this case, the result will be 4 for product names and 4 for sales figures. The COUNTA function is incredibly versatile and can be used in various scenarios to count non-empty cells. Use COUNTA to quickly determine the number of filled responses in surveys, forms, or customer feedback. It can be used to count the number of items listed in an inventory, regardless of whether they have quantities associated. It is also useful in project management to count the number of completed tasks or entries in project tracking sheets to monitor progress.
We hope this tutorial helps you master Excel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, SmartLink Basics, for more tutorials and tips.